Just want to cover a couple things from yesterday that I realized I had glossed over. This one, the Prophet ﷺ said to Umar ibn Abi Salama, he said, Ya ghulam, sami Allah, wa kul bi yaminik, wa kul mimma yalik. Oh, young man, mention the name of Allah and eat with your right hand. Wa kul mimma yalik. Yalik, I kind of glossed over it. But yali comes from, if you look it up, the word or the root wali. And if you think about that, wali being a friend, or those who are close to Allah, yali, close to you. Right? Wali, yali, close to you. Right? Mimma yalik, close to you. I just wanted to mention where that came from because I realized I glossed over it yesterday. And then just mention where these hadith were from real quick. From Adab because I didn't have them yesterday. This first one, نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الشرب قائما, is in Muslim number 5278 from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Right, the second one, the Prophet ﷺ forbade. The first one was the Prophet ﷺ forbade drinking standing. The second one, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and nafkhi fi sharab, he forbade from drinking or breathing into the vessel. Then this one is in Bukhari and Muslim. Bukhari and Muslim. For the sister, we use abbreviations of kha for Bukhari because the ba is used for al-Bayhaqi, in case you didn't know that. So 5630. And in Muslim, 5285 from Abu Qatada. Right. Then in the third hadith, no, that is the third hadith. I'm sorry. The second one is in Muslim of Imam Ahmed. The fourth hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. This one is in Bukhari and Muslim. Number 5631 in Bukhari and 5287 in Muslim. This hadith where the Prophet, the third hadith, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا شرب أحدكم فلا يتنفس في الإناء. Then if one of you drinks, then don't let him breathe in the vessel. That's the one from Abu Qatada here. And the fourth one, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يتنفس في الشراب ثلاثا. And we said that the Prophet ﷺ used to breathe when drinking 3 times. It means not in the vessel, but he would take a break and breathe in between his drinks and not just drink it all at once. Right? This hadith is related by Anas. And it's the wording of Muslim. The wording of Bukhari has the similar meaning, but has a different wording. Then we reach the hadith of today, which are al-faragh min al-akal wa-shurb. Al-faragh, as we have said before, is like a break, right? A break. In other words, to be done with, right? Faragha, right? To be done with, to be finished. What happens when you're finished eating and drinking? What do you say? What are your etiquettes? This first hadith,
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. There's more than that though. Alhamdulillah. That's the easy way out. That's the one you teach the 2-year-old. That's the Alhamdulillah you teach the 2-3-year-old who just began talking. We got Alhamdulillah alladhi at'amani wa saqani wa ja'alni min al-muslimin. We got lots of them for us, you know. Okay. These actually are the 49th and 50th hadith inside of our second section on Adab. So with this, we'll be more than halfway through with this section. Alhamdulillah, 99 hadith. Amara Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam بلعق الأصابع والصحفة وقال إنكم لا تدرون في أيه البركة. أمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بلعق الأصابع والصحفة وقال إنكم لا تدرون في أيه البركة. So Amara ya'muru, to command. Amara, and we said whenever we see a verb, first thing we're going to do is it past, present, or future. It's past tense, and then we're going to look for the fa'il. The fa'il here is going to be marfu', so Rasul. Amara Rasul, the messenger ordered. Rasulullahi mudaf mudaf ilayh. Amara Rasulullahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam bi. Amara bi. We talked about that yesterday. When we have Amara, we're going to have the harful jar, the preposition bi. Just like when we have Naha, to prohibit, Ain. Right? Naha Ain, Amara bi. Just like we have Amana bi. Al-imanu billahi. Wa bi kutubihi. Wa bi rusulihi. Like that. So Amara Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam bila'qi. La'qa, to lick. To lick. La'qa, to lick. He commanded us to lick asabi'. Right? La'qa, to lick. And you get from this word mil'aka. Mil'aka is this thing here. Right? A spoon. Mil'aka. So, la'aka is to lick. Mil'aka, spoon. Amara Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam bila'qi al-asabi'. Asabi' is the plural of usbu', meaning finger. Asabi' usbu', finger. Right? Fingers. So he ordered us to lick our fingers. Wasahfa. Wasahfa. The sahfa is the bowl or the platter, right? Like, in other words, we have, sahfa. It's just the bowl or the platter, right? So we're ordered to lick the fingers, or the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered with licking the fingers, was sahfa, and the bowl, the platter, the dish. وقال, and he said, إنكم لا تدرون, very you, inna plus kum, very you, لا تدرون, from adri, yadri, tadri, right? You don't know. So for instance, when someone asks you a question, you can say, and you don't know the answer, you can say, La a'lam. I don't know. You can say, La adri. Right? I don't know. Same thing, La adri. I don't know. But this is from ilm, and this is from idrak. So, هل It's skipping my mind. In the very end of Juz Amma. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ, right? Like this. And what will make you know, as it appears in the end of Juz Amma. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ, and what will make you know, right? So we have إِنَّكُمْ لَا تَدْرُونَ, plural. Not tadri, for you know, but tadruna, for you guys know. إِنَّكُمْ لَا تَدْرُونَ fi, you guys don't know, fi ayyihi, ay is which. Which, ay. Ayyihi, which of it. Al-baraka is the blessings. Innakum, very you, la tadruna, you guys don't know, fi ayyihi, in which of it, al-baraka is the baraka. You don't know which of it is the barakah. In which part of the food is the barakah? Is it what's left on your fingers? Is it what's left on the sahan, on the sahfa? What's left on the plate or the dish? You guys don't know. So lick your fingers, inshallah ta'ala, lick the plate. And there's a hadith in Abu Dawood that if you lick the plate makes dua for you. Don't mean you gotta pick up the plate to your face and lick the plate. But you can just rub or wipe your fingers across it and lick it like that. This hadith is in Muslim, number 5300, from Jabir. Any questions? Okay. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله لا يرضى عن العبد أن يأكل الأكلة فيحمده عليها أو يشرب الشربة فيحمده عليها. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, إن الله, and see here, Abdullah, we have Allah, lafz al-jalala, becoming mansoob after inna. Right? And it would be called ismu inna. And in khabru inna, because this is not a simple sentence, because this is another phrase. Yarda an al-abd, that's a phrase. So it would have the position of khabru inna, right? But that's later on. Inshallah. Inna Allah, verily Allah, la yarda. This lam is the lam of ta'keed, or tawkeed. The lam of tawkeed meaning the lam of emphasis. Yarda from radiya, meaning to be pleased with. Radiyallahu anhu, right? Inna Allah la yarda, verily Allah. And then see you have inna and we have lam, two emphasis, showing the importance of this issue. Inna Allah la yarda anil abd. He is pleased with an abd. Radiyallahu anhu, right? Pleased with him. Here an means with. It doesn't mean from or on or whatever we translate. As we said, these huruful jar, these prepositions, they don't have a meaning except inside the sentence. They get their meaning from the words around them. We can give a word, we can give a simple min means from, ila means to, but when we put them inside a sentence, that could all change because they get their real meaning from the words around them. So here we have an being with. Inna Allah la yarda anil abd. Verily Allah is pleased with a servant, a slave. And yakula al-aklata, that he eats. And again, yakula is mansoob ba'da an. And yakula al-aklata. Aklata is food, right? Whatever he eats. Ya'kulu aklata. Eat what he eats food, right? Ta'am. This has the meaning of ta'am here. يأكل أكلة يأكل ماذا أكلة منسوب مفعول به فيحمده so he praises him عليها for it here ala means for he praises him for it أو يشرب الشربة or he drinks Yashraba is still going back to the end. And Yahmada is going back to the end as well. And Yahmadahu. And Yashraba. So they're all mansub going back to the end. And Yashraba Sharbata. Sharbata and Aklata are mansub because of being maf'ulun bihi, being the object, whereas Yahmada, one second, Yahmada wa Ya'kala wa Yashraba and Yahmada here are going back to the end, mansub with the end. So we have that a slave and ya'kula aklata, that he eats a food, fayahmadahu alayha, so he praises Allah for it, or yashraba sharbata, or he drinks a drink, fayahmadahu alayha, and he praises Allah for it. This hadith is in Muslim, number 6932, from Anas. Any questions?
He's saying, because I was getting an understanding that Allah praises the slave for doing whatever this is.
No. Allah is pleased. Allah yarda.
Yes, so Allah is pleased with his slave that he drinks what he drinks, so he praises him for it.
For it. So meaning, so he praises Allah for it.
Oh, okay.
Who is going back to Allah? Yahmadahu alayha. He praises Allah for it. Fayahmadallaha alayha. Fayahmadahu alayha. So in other words, when you finish eating and drinking, you need to say Alhamdulillah like this, because Allah is pleased with it. So if you just drink, Allah is pleased with you for eating and drinking, Allah praises you for eating and drinking, then that means Allah praises every kafir and everybody if he praises you and he for eating and drinking. No. Inna Allah la yarda al abd. Allah is pleased with the slave and ya'kula aklata fayahmaduhu alayh, that he eats his food and he praises him for it, meaning, and he praises Allah for it. Okay. Otherwise, yeah. Khabru inna is this phrase here. It's a phrase. It's going to be another jumla, a jumla fi'liya, because yarda an al-abd, and then that's going to be khabru inna, but that becomes more difficult later on. This is not a simple sentence, it's a complex sentence, so that's why it changes. Khabru inna is clear, like in inna Allaha kareemun. Allah is kareem, or inna Allaha rahimun. Then verily Allah is merciful. Then it becomes khabru inna, rahim is clear. But when it's when these sentences take complex shapes, then the khabru inna, or even sometimes the ismu inna and stuff like that, they become phrases and sentences instead of just being clear, like in rahim or kareem or sabir or like that. Go ahead, Abdullah, reading for us.
أمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بلعق الأصابع والصحفة وقال إنكم لا تدرون في أيه البركة. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله لا يرضى عن العبد أن يأكل الأكلة فيحمده عليها أو يشرب الشرب فيحمده عليها.
يلا أبو طاهر.
أمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بلعق الأصابع والصحافة وقال إنكم لا تدرون في أيه البركة. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله لا يرضى عن العبد أن يأكل الأكلة فيحمده عليها أو يشرب الشربة فيحمده عليها.
Naam. Okay, next we have a section on Al-Ishra. Al-Ishra comes from the same root as Ashra, 10. Ain, Sheen, Ra. Here, Al-Ishra means community, or the community. So what are those adabs, what are those etiquettes that you need when being out amongst the community? Al-Ishra. We have the first one, At-Tariq. At-Tariq, which is the path, or the road, or the way, or it can be the street, right? The path, the road, the way, the street, the place where people walk. Oh, took it too far up, huh? There we go. So he said, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الإيمان بدع وسبعون أو بدع وستون شعبة فأفضلها قول لا إله إلا الله وأدناها إماطة الأذى عن الطريق والحياة شعبة من الإيمان. الإيمان بدع وسبعون أو بدع وستون شعبة. الإيمان, we already know this. آمن يؤمن لا يؤمن, to have faith, or إيمان. بدعون. Bid'un means some, or rather, not some, bad means some. Bid'un means between 3 and 10. We said this before. Between 3 and 10. It's a number between 3 and 10. So if you talk about bid'u sinin, like Yusuf was in prison, alayhi salatu wassalam, bid'u sinin, between 3 and 10 years. When Allah talks about in Surah Al-Rum that the Romans will defeat the Persians fi bid'i, then this means between 3 and 10 years. And this is why we said Abu Bakr knew to because gambling was still allowed, he knew to bet the Quraysh that the Romans would beat the Persians within 3 to 10 years after the Romans had just lost. So he said, Bid'un wa sab'un. Sab'un, 70. It is 70 some odd branches, between 73 and 79. Iman, Bid'un wa sab'un. It is 70 something. أو بدع وستون, or بدع وستون, 60 something, or 60 something, شعبة. شعبة means branches. Branches. Shu'bah is branches. Right? If you go to college, this is also a shu'bah of hadith or shu'bah of medicine. Mean the branch. What branch? Shu'bah. Right? But it's 60, 70 something or 60 something branches. I think they say in the translation sometimes where they say 70 odd branches or 60 odd, something like that. فَأَفْضَلُهَا, fa is so, afdal from fadal, which is virtue. So afdal is most virtuous or best, however you want to translate it. Most virtuous, ha, of them, of the shu'bah. فَأَفْضَلُهَا, the most virtuous of them, the best of them, the highest of them, but the meaning the highest of. قَوْلُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ is the statement, لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. وَأَدْنَاهَا, adna from duna, which we have for being less than or other than, then this is the ismu tafdeel. Just like fadl become afdal, duna becomes adna. Right? Adnaha, and the lowest of them, imatatul adha an at-tariq. Imatatu from mim ya ta, meaning to remove. This is the root mim ya ta, imatatu, to remove al-adha. As we said many times, we've had adha is harm. Al-adha is harm. An at-tariq, removing something harmful from the road. Removing something. So you're driving down the street and you see a tree branch had fallen off. Pick it up, move it out of the way. Don't throw it on the sidewalk. You just put it in another tariq's path. Throw it in the grass in between the sidewalk and the street. Or throw it on the curb, or put it out of the way where it's not harming anybody, right? Or at least where it's doing less harm. Sometimes you put it in the parking spot, now you harm somebody, they can't park their car. You put it over there, get it out of the road, make it the easiest, right? Whatever is the best. Imatatul adha an at-tariq, removing something harmful from the road. You see nails in the street, pick them up. It's going to cost somebody a flat tire. You see broken glass on the sidewalk, sweep it to the side if you can. You see dog poo, clean it up if you can. Get it out of the, you didn't step on it, alhamdulillah, maybe the next person does. Right? Al-haya'u shu'batun min al-iman. And this shows up here, al-imatatul adha, shows that littering is not permissible. Littering is not permissible. Right? It causes harm. Wal-haya'u, and shyness, haya, shyness, shu'batun min al-iman, is a branch of iman. See, min, we wouldn't say branch from iman. You could, but you would probably translate it as of, a branch of iman. This hadith is in Muslim, number 153, from Abu Huraira. Any questions?
No.
Shyness is a branch of Iman. Shyness.
Yeah, modesty, shyness, yes. They might say modesty, shyness. To be, not be bold and be like, yeah, I'm gonna whoop your butt, boy, when you come home, like some people in the room.
I got wiki, man.
Okay, read this one because the next one is long and goes to the next page. So read this one first for us, Abu Tahir.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الإيمان بضع وسبعون أو بضع وستون شعبة فأفضلها قول لا إله إلا الله وأدناها إماطة الأذى على الطريق والحياء شعبة من الإيمان.
نعم يلا عبد الله.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الإيمان بضع وسبعون.
No. Shuf, put the da before you put an ayn. Bid'un, not bi'dun. Bid'un.
Bid'un. I thought I said it. Bid'un. Okay, وسبعون أو بدء وستون شبة وأفضلها قول لا إله إلا وأدناها إماتة الأذى عن الطريق والحياء شعبة من الإيمان.
Yeah. This next hadith. Next hadith is, like we said, it's a little longer, goes to the next page. This next hadith deals with the etiquettes of being on the road. The first one established that it's a shu'bah min al-iman to remove harm from it. Now we're going to talk about some of the adab of the tariq. عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إياكم والجلوس في الطرقات. قالوا يا رسول الله ما لنا بد من مجالسنا نتحدث فيها. And we'll stop here before we scroll down, inshallah. And Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu. And in Nabiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we see anna, the word after it becomes mansoob, right? Ismu anna, inna wa akhwatuha, right? Anna Nabiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qal, that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, Iyakum wal julusa bi turuqat. Iyakum. We said this iyakum is a beware. When we studied the 100 hadith, we said iyakum wal dhann. Iyakum wal dhann fa inna dhanna akdhabul hadith. Because very dhann, suspicion, is the most evil of speech, a lying of speech. So iyakum wa, this is a warning here. This is a warning. So we can say iyakum wal julus. Beware of sitting bituruqat, in the pathways. Julus from jalsa, from jalasa. Julus here means sitting around, gathering. Bituruqat, in the ways. Turuqat jam'u tariq, the plural of tariq. Iyakum wal julus bituruqat. Beware of sitting in the pathways. Qalu, they said, Ya Rasulallah. Rasulallah is mansoob because of the ya. We said whenever we have something which is mudaf ilayh, it comes after ya of the nida, the calling, then the mudaf becomes mansoob. So we say Ya Abdullah, Ya Aba Tahir, Ya Rasulallah. ما لنا بد من مجالسنا نتحدث فيها. Bud, I know I jumped forward a little bit. Bud, but la bud or ma bud means like no doubt, or something like that, and you'll figure it out, inshallah. Ma bud or la bud meaning like no doubt. Lana meaning for us. Min majalisina natahaddathu fiha. Like, I'm going to just translate it and then we'll go over word for word. Ma lana, because the order here is not something that you would think to put in that order. If you were just to make it up yourself, being a non-Arab, and not, you wouldn't put it in that order. So ma lana buddun min majalisina natahaddathu fiha. So we have to sit in them. We don't have anything else, nowhere else to sit and talk. But ma bud, meaning no doubt, right? Lana, for us, min majalisina, from our sittings. Majalisina, our sittings, right? Natahaddathu, from haddatha. Haddatha, majalisina, from jalasa. Natahaddath, from haddatha, talking, right? Fiha, and talking in them. So when you say that, they're saying, O Messenger of Allah, but without doubt, for us, we need these places to sit and talk in. So the Prophet ﷺ told him, don't do it. Don't sit there. He said, okay, bud, here we go, that's a better way. Ma bud, there's no escape here. Like we say, la bud, you mean no doubt. La bud really means there's no escape. Meaning, it has to be done, right? You can't get away from it. So ma bud, or ma lana bud, there is not for us an escape from min majalisina, from our sitting. Natahaddathu fiha, and the turuqat, fiha turuqat. So there is no escape for us in our sittings and talking in them. Before I scroll on the page, you understand that paragraph so far?
No.
No.
Here he says, A, nahtaj ilayha, meaning we need them, right? Nahtaj, we need them. After they said to the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said to them, صلى الله عليه وسلم, إذا أبيتم إلا المجلس فأعطوا الطريق حقه. قالوا وما حقه؟ قال غض البصر وكف الأذى ورد السلام والأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر. Okay, so the Messenger of Allah ﷺ told them, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْجُلُوسِ فِي طُرُقَاتِ, beware of sitting in the pathways. قالوا يا رسول الله, O Messenger of Allah, ما لنا بد من مجالسنا نتحدث فيها. We don't have an escape from sitting in them and talking. This is the only place we have. We need it. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أبيتم إلى المجلس فأعطوا الطريق حقه. أبى means to take a seat, right? أبى meaning to okay. Adab means to refuse. Asif. I was thinking of a different hadith. Aba means to refuse. Aba. Where the Prophet ﷺ said, كل أمتي يدخلون الجنة إلا من أبى. All of my ummah will enter into Jannah except for those who refuse. Right? قالوا لمن يأبى يا رسول الله. Who would refuse, O Messenger of Allah? من أطعني دخل الجنة ومن أصاني فقد أبى. Whoever obeys me, then he'll enter paradise. Whoever disobeys me, then he is refused. So Aba is to refuse. Abaytum. If you refuse ila al-majlis, except to sit. If you refuse to not do this, and you're only going to sit, either abaytum, if you refuse, abaytum, you guys, if you refuse, ila al-majlis, except to sit, except these sittings, فَأَعْطَوْا طَرِيقَ الْحَقَّ فَأَعْطَوْا, then to, from أَعْطَوْا or أَعْطَى, give the, this is to give, أَعْطَى, أَعْطَوْا, أَعْطَى, to give الطريق, the road or the path, حقه, its rights. Its rights. Give them its rights. Give them what it's due. قالوا وما حقه. He said, and what is its right? They said, and what is its rights? What are the rights of the tariq? What rights does it have? قال صلى الله عليه وسلم غض البصر. غض means to lower. غض, you will look it up just like it is there. Ayn, Bad, غض, to lower. Al-Basar. Al-Basar from Basira, right? Basir, Basara, Basair, Basira, your gaze. Lower your gaze. Right? Allah is Sami'ul Basir. He is hearing and seeing. Comes from that seeing. Lower your seeing. Brother, the proper word would be lower your gaze. وَكَفُّ الْأَذَى. Kaf means here to withhold. Kaf, to withhold. Al-Adha. Then, and withhold from harming people. Withhold from harming. Right? Don't cause people harm. How could you cause people harm? By urinating in the pathways, by throwing your trash, sitting around, just leaving your empty bottles and cans and food wrappers, right? Throwing your gum on the sidewalk, or somebody steps in it, gets it on their shoe, these types of things. Kaful adha, withhold harm. Wa raddu salam, and return, radd as-salam, return salams. Let me give you salams. Don't ignore them because you don't know them. Don't ignore them because you're busy talking and sitting in the middle of the road. You're in the middle of the road. The road is for walking on, not sitting on. So if you're going to sit there and talk, if you're going to stand there and talk, give them its rights from them. Ghad al-basar, lowering the gaze. Kaf al-adha, withholding any harm. Wa raddu salam, giving salams. Wal-amru bil-ma'ruf, commanding the good. وَالنَّهْيُ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, and forbidding the evil. This hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim, 6229, 5563 in Muslim, from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. It says it at the top, right? And Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Any questions? Any questions, Abdullah?
I got to pretty much understand that.
If you got a question, ask it, brother.
No, I got pretty good understanding.
Okay. Well, you want me to scroll up, or you guys can scroll up on your own and look at it?
I'm good.
Trying to see where this started. And Abi Saeed.
Yeah. Football. Go ahead, Abdullah. Yeah.
And Abi Saeed al-Khudri, radiyallahu أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إياكم والجلوس بالطرقات. قالوا يا رسول الله ما لنا بد من مجالسنا نتحدث فيها. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أبيتم إلا المجلس فأتوا الطريق حقه. قالوا وما حقه؟ قال غض البصر وكف الأذى ورد السلام والأمر بالمعروف والنهر عن المنكر.
نحي والنحي عن المنكر.
والنحي.
نعم. يا أبا طاهر.
عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إياكم والجلوس بالطرقات. قالوا يا رسول الله ما لنا بد من مجالسنا نتحدث فيها. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أبيتم إلى المجلس فأتوا الطريق حقه. قالوا وما حقه؟ قال غض البصر وكف الأذى ورد السلام والأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر.
No. We can get one more in, inshallah, unless you guys gotta go. Assalam. Assalam. We're talking about the greeting here. Assalam, greeting, right? Not peace, but the greeting. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا أولا أدلكم على شيء إذا فعلتموه تحاببتم أفشوا السلام بينكم. This hadith from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, لا تدخلون الجنة. Right? دخل يدخل تدخلون, the form of you guys. لا تدخلون الجنة. You will not enter Jannah. مفعول به منصوب. لا تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. حتى, until تؤمنوا. Hatta is something which sometimes, not always because there's different meaning, hatta, whatever, it sometimes causes the word after it to become mansoob. Like here, it causes it to drop the noon. Hatta tu'minuna. But hatta doesn't always perform that function, but it does a lot of times. Here it did. It caused the noon to be dropped. Hatta tu'minu. Otherwise it would be tu'minuna, just like tadkhuluna. وَلَا تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَهَابُّوا. And you will not believe حَتَّى تَهَابُّوا, until tahabbu. This comes from the form of, from hub, you will look it up, but ahabba, and then you will, this form is tahab, right? This alif here and this ta here, for instance, this ta and this alif inside of the verb. So for instance, we have arsala yursilu, meaning to send. If I say, let me get rid of that one. Tarasala, right? Put my ta and my alif there, like it's here. Then this form shows back and forth. Whereas arsala, maybe I sent Abdullah a letter, but that was it. But tarasala means I send him a letter and he sends me a letter. So arsala yursilu, ahabba yuhibbu, hakada become ahabba yuhibbu. That's one way. But tahabbu is both ways, back and forth, right? Showing mutual participation. Hatta tahabbu, until you love one another. Meaning, until you love one another. Not just that I love Abdullah, but Abdullah always wants to beat me up. No. Abdullah has to learn to love me too. وَلَا تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَهَابُوا, and you will not believe until you love one another. أَوَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ. Is a question. Why is just and, right? But la adullukum, this is the important part. La or adullu means to guide. I guide. Adullukum, I guide you. La adullukum, I don't guide you. But here we have a question. Basically, and should I not guide you? Ala shay'in, to something. Should I not guide you to something? Ala here with the meaning of to. To something. Shay'in. It's a thing. But should I not guide you to a thing? You can say that, but it would be better to say something. Because and some here, when we say a thing and something, they're both unknown. I have something for you. I have a thing for you. Meaning, I have something for you. You don't know what it is. Versus I have the thing or that thing for you, then you know what I'm talking about. So a thing and something, same for the most part. Awala adullukum, should I not guide you? Ala shay'in, to something. Either if fa'altumuhu, if you did it. Fa'ala, to do. Fa'altum, if you guys did it. This wow here is added for, because we can't put a hat right after it. Fa'altumuhu, like that. No. It needs to be, they add it there for Arab reasons that they do stuff sometimes, right? This wow is there because we already have fa'altum, but because we're adding this other pronoun to it, they add that wow in the middle. Fa'altumuhu, if you did it, tahabbtum, you will love one another. You will love one another. Idha fa'altumuhu, if you did it, you will love one another. Awala adullukum ala shay'in, should I not guide you to something? Idha fa'altumuhu, tahabbtum, if you did it, you would love one another. Afshu salam bainakum. Afshu from, let me make sure. Well, I talk without knowledge too many times, huh? 1 second. 1 second. Okay, yeah, I thought that's what it was, but anyway, fash from a wow, fash, right? That's how you would look it up. Sheen, wow, right? It would actually be fasha, yafsha'u, right? Afshu meaning spread, to spread. As-salam bainakum, between you guys. Spread the salam between you guys, right? لا تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. You will not enter into Jannah until you believe. ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. And you will not believe until you love one another. أولا أدلكم على شيء إذا فعلتموه تحاببتم. Should I not guide you to something that if you did it, you will love one another? Afshu salam bainakum. Spread the salams between yourselves or among yourselves. Any questions? This hadith is in Muslim 194 from Abu Hurairah. Questions?
لا.
Go ahead and read for us, Abu Tahir.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحبوا أولا أدلكم على شيء إذا فعلتموه تحاببتم أفشوا السلام بينكم.
يا عبد الله.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تدخلن الجنة حتى يؤمنوا ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا أولا أدلكم على شيء إذا فعلتموه تحاببتم أفشوا الصلاة أفشوا السلام بينكم.
نعم. الله يبارك فيكم إن شاء الله تعالى.
فيكم بارك الله.
I will see you brothers tomorrow. جزاك الله خيرا.
وإياكم.
Yeah, have a good night, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.